So it was about 20 to 1. I was up just a few minutes after midnight today. So I hope I get the full day and I don't have to I don't have to have the strangeness of waking up twice in the same day. Um, a few things over the course of the morning. One of them is that I am almost certain at this point that this cable modem, which I use to connect to the internet, is at least a secondary cause of the noise. I am going to have to replace the cords, and we'll see how long it takes. But for right now, what I've been doing is I'm plugging this just like this, whenever I want to use the mixer, or basically whenever I'm not on the internet. Cover it underneath this bed sheet like this, and leave it there until it comes on next. Actually, we'll unplug it and move it over into the other room, just in case it's that as an antenna or something. When I forget to do it, I notice it, so I have to do it. Again, I don't know if it's because the modem is noisy and anything's going to pick it up, or if it's because there's a short, or if it's because it's oscillating and picking something else up, or all the other different possibilities, right? I know that what I care about is shielding the sound, so I'm focused on getting another cord. What else have I accomplished this morning? Well, I've got several mixes up for the in remixed part of the project, which has stabilized to being alternate versions and may actually end up attached to the in reclaimed as a double. I'm going to get through the remaining material first and then make a choice. What that means is building singles. I've built 3 singles already. I've decided to be more inclusive than not. Broadly speaking, if the track has a 1996 or 97 version, it will probably get a single unless it's particularly bad. That would mean that there are going to be 3 versions of. I mean, anything that has a 96 version and has a new version has at least 3 versions. There's the initial demo version, there's the version from the CD, and then there's the version I just did. Most of those tracks also have an electronic-only version and perhaps some other kind of remix that's come up in the process. The 3 singles that have come up are Skaters, which had the 97 version, the 98 version, the new version, and the electronic version. So that's 4 distinct versions. And on top of that, the remastering that I did in between was substantial and noticeable, but the initial versions weren't bad enough, kind of thing. So I was able to get 7 mixes out of that, and they all sound relatively good. I guess 4 of them have vocals and 3 of them don't. But it's, I mean, that I'm happy with that. Or is it 6 and 2? Sorry, 5 and 2. Yeah, there's only 2 versions that don't have vocals, so there's 5 that do, yeah. Which would be 3 versions from 1998 and 2 versions from 1997. The difference in the 297s is the remaster, and it is substantial, and it is noticeable, but neither are really bad. And this is the same thing with the 98. Although I also put an unedited version, because I ran it through like a Mackie bass boost before I burnt it to CDs. So I've got those 2. I've got a version that I saved to 112 kpbs MP3, and then I have a version that I created a CD out of from that. So in fact, the low quality MP3 is the source version, the best source version that I have, unfortunately. But I mean the CD, the versions that I mastered for the CD got released. So I mean none of them are on any official release, except for the stuff on the singles. But I mean, they exist, and there's a sound there. So that was that one. Confused, I got 9 mixes out of, 4 of them new and 5 of them old. It would be actually the same 5 old It's the same 5 volt as before, 2 from 97, 3 from 98, and it's the same kind of thing, with the remaster sounding better, but the old version not being terrible. And the 4 new versions are, there's I remixed the vocals into that track, as I said. I wouldn't have done that, and I didn't, and I'm not going to do that for any of the other tracks. This is the only track that I got the vocals in. Um, and the vocal version is on top of the reconstructed version with added sequencing. So it's really kind of it's the full treatment. It's a reinterpretation of the track. So that ended up as the lead track on that one. It's really a single for the new construction of the track. Then there's the electronic plus guitar version, and then there's the guitar version, and then just the electronic version, and they all have their separate spots in the release cycle, except for the new vocal version, which is only available there. So that all made sense. That's a longer single. It's about 45 minutes, and it feels good to get that out, actually, to have all those versions. That's of the early tracks, that's one of the more developed, and I'm glad that it has its proper home now, complete with Conspiracy Kinu for the album cover. The third one I put up was Hey God, which the major reason I did that was because I had 3 new versions. There's the forward mix, there's the electronic only mix, and then there's the regular and reclaimed mix, and I wanted all 3 of them to be available in the same place. The remastered versions of those tracks are so superior to the other ones that I just threw the other ones away. So that's a 5-track single. It's only 15 minutes long, but it gets those ideas together. The lyrics aren't in short doses like that. I'm coughing a lot. But in short doses like that, that track isn't so bad. That's the other reason why I wanted to do an update right now. Because this. My sneezing is habitual. It's multiple times a week. I sneeze. I'm allergic to something. I've been sneezing like this since I was a kid. I don't know what I'm allergic to, but this is my last cigarette. I said that a few times. I bought a pack not yesterday, but where was it yesterday? Would have been last night. Or yesterday morning. From a calendar perspective, yesterday morning. And that pack took me a little bit over budget. I think it's $3 over budget. So this is the end of it. Period. No matter what. Or at least this is my last free cigarette. I have some other tobacco that is being hoarded for other purposes. I'm going to wait until I eat. But this is... I've been waiting for the vlog for this because I wanted to be absolutely certain. And there's no ambiguity, no going back, no questioning. This is the last freestanding cigarette in the house. And when I'm done eating... and I have it, that will be the last freestanding cigarette that I have. For the rest of the day, I need to not sneeze, although I'm sure I will. And I need to get a few more singles in. I'm going to get a single for Schizoid in, although I'm not sure if I'm going to place it at the end of February or at the end of June. The reason is because there's a noise section that I added in at the end of June 1998. It was actually, I think, one of the last things I did when I was compiling the record. So that wouldn't be right to sequence in February. I would have to wait until June before I could sequence that. There will be a single for Mom, under the same arguments as the other ones. That's a little bit of a longer track though, so the single will be that's actually a single that's going to be fairly substantial when I get it put together, and when I sit down and listen to it, I'm probably going to be a little bit or really when anyone sits down and listens to that, they're going to be a little bit taken by it. If not in spite of the vocals, then because of them. That's a powerful tune. The way that I did it a few times, and the various versions are pretty stellar when you line them up like that. So that's kind of a little bit of a secret weapon coming up. On top of that, I think that might be the last one before the Inri disc gets released in June 1998. I think there's two more throughout '98. One of them's in the summer, and the other one's in like around Christmas. My output kind of it's less that it went down in '98, like near the end of '98. I got stuck working on this track called Circus, and I couldn't get the guitar tone right, and I was doing a bunch of covers for various projects. I was working on a Skinny Puppy tribute record, and that was actually also a period where I had a couple of friends. I've had these brief periods in my life where I have friends, and you know what I mean. You get less done when you're spending time with people, so that kind of slows down a little bit in the summer of '98. I think the other thing that happened in the summer of '98 was that I ended up working over the summer, and because I was working over the summer, I got a little bit less done than I would have liked. I always got more done in the school year than in the summer because I wasn't working. It's you go to work, you're working for the full period, and you come home and you're tired. You've got to spend all this time transiting and everything. It's far more time consuming than just. I lived a few blocks from the school at the time, so I could, if I wanted to go to school at all, and a lot of the time I didn't. So I always got way more done during the school year. And I guess that was in the fall of '98. Was grade. That would have been grade 12. Yeah, I would have been starting grade 12. And I think that was a little bit of a mental thing for me, as I wanted to ensure that starting grade 12 meant I was starting pre-university science courses. There was a grade 13 in Ontario at the time, but it was standard to take grade 13 bio and chem because there was no grade 12 bio or chem. So you would take grade 11 bio or chem, and then the next year you would take grade 13 bio and chem because there was no grade 12 and you didn't want to forget it over the summer, or you didn't want to forget it over the next school year. So I was taking two of them, and then I ended up taking something like I think I took eight of them. That was always the whole time I was in school, I was always about breath. But anyways, yeah, so the output went down a little bit over that summer. So I think there's only going to be two more singles after that. If I can get up to that point by the end of the day, up to the end of June, which I think is two more, and a bunch ruled out, then I think I'm where I want to be waking up tomorrow. It's just taking a couple of days longer than I wanted, but I mean, I'm making progress. I'm moving. Like I said, I think 3 tracks in remixed and 3 full singles up over the last 12 hours, 13 hours. So that's pretty good, and I should get close to that in the next 13. So, yeah, I'm going to stop to eat, and then I'm going to be ready to go when I get finished eating.